right, everybody. Welcome back to another week on the Black
Multiverse Theory Podcast.
Welcome to the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast, where hosts Nigel and Nilo explore current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. In shout-outs, they catch up with the community, creating a space for connection. In the scroll, we dive into social media, current events, and celebrity news, always actual but not always factual. On the screen, we share our latest watch list, while in our ears explores the sounds that are shaping our worlds. The podcast culminates with an uplifting word, hopefully leaving you empowered. Thanks for tuning in for this insightful analysis and vibrant perspective on the Black Canadian community in today's world.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We are here once again.
One more time.
Let's check in. How was your week?
Week was challenging, to say the least. It was quite a bit challenging. But making it through. I know today's only Wednesday, but from the last Wednesday to this Wednesday, a lot has happened, especially with soccer. We had a great game for soccer with the U13s. They had an amazing time and had a great time. I still have to find a coach for this weekend to do that, as I will be with Chinaman, which is the definite chef for the Genius catering team, and they are there this weekend doing his Christmas dinner, which is going to be phenomenal as usual.
I hear that he is phenomenal. He's a phenomenal cook.
His food is probably the best in the city right now, as far as caterers, as far as when he does his thing. There are a lot that come close, but when you look at the variety of stuff that he brings, from the pasta salad to the fish to all the different things that he brings on the table for everybody to eat, he was a little bit upset. The other day I spoke to him at the Friends of Barbados dinner, so shout out to Miss Yvette and Cheryl and the crew, who did an amazing job at that. But he was a little upset from last year because people snuck in to the dinner. They kind of, oh, my friend's inside, and then you see them with a plate. So it's quite interesting.
The food is so good, people are sneaking in, but I get it.
Well, it is a thing that people do, especially when the ticket prices are high and you're getting a show and you're getting a lot of different things, right? And the price isn't very high. It's just people want to get over on other people. It's just a thing.
Yeah, that will always be.
But it was pretty good. So shout outs to Steel Heights Tigers and that. Shout outs to Mr. Chitty Man. And shout outs to everybody who watches the show. We had a great time last week, so we're going to try and do that again. Do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, of course. So I guess big shout out to Kijo. Kijo has been working on a play about hair, and I was privileged enough to be a part of the workshopping process, being actual in the play, and then the play took place at Aphrodisiac, being that the set is a salon, so it took place at the shop as a salon. And it was really good. So shout out to Thou Art Here Theater, and a big shout out to Kijo, Pat, Helen, Moses, and Patton. Yeah, that team.
The team.
Also a big shout out to yesterday. Big shout out to Cecilia from, I don't know, Cecilia Takes Over, I think is her IG. So the Cuban salsa dancer, Cecilia.
Okay, yeah.
And Tyler Baker. Cecilia and Tyler Baker have been trying to get me to be in their photographs for a very long time, and I guess I finally gave in. So you will be seeing those soon. A big what's up there to Darren Hall.
D Hall.
He's got a birthday coming up, I think, in short order, like within the next week or something. Every single day I'm like, did I miss it? And he's like, no. And then the next day I'm like, did I miss it? Courtney's on. What's up, Courtney?
What's up?
In the room.
Courtney.
Darren said he's on his Grizzly, just coming in to check in on the show and say some love, give some love.
Nice.
Big
nice.
shout out to Courtney. Yes. Yeah, I think those are my shout outs. Those are my big shout outs for the week anyway.
Big shout outs.
Continuing, yes.
Well, we're in the month of December, and December, we all know, is a holiday month. A lot of people celebrate different holidays in December, from Christmas to all types of stuff. So we are going to have such a great time here as week to week we come back here and do it all for you again. So just so you know, if for those of you who are just tuning in, we are here every Wednesday at 8-ish. And we'll be here next week and the week after that, as long as we can.
As long as we can.
As long as we can.
Yeah, I did have a client run late today, so quite naturally pushed everything later. And I apologize for that. I tried very hard to cancel, but you guys be having me on a chokehold, making appointments like, after this, I'm going straight to the airport type of a thing, which is absolutely insane to me, but y'all be doing it. Yeah. Yes.
Well,
okay, let's move on.
I think we're going to move to, the scroll.
Let's move on to the scroll.
The scroll.
What do you think about that one?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to work it out. Anyway, go ahead. So
it needs to be maybe a
timpani? You want like this?
Yeah.
Is that better, you guys?
That's it right there.
Courtney, tell me what you think.
Courtney, what do you think about that right there, boss?
Courtney's our official MD. Okay, so what you got for the scroll?
So for the scroll, we got local scroll. And for those of you who don't know about the scroll, as we say all the time and at the beginning of this, it's actual but not necessarily factual.
Yes.
And these are things that are happening that go around in our city, in our province, and in our country. And then we even go into stuff that is happening around the world. And it's mainly stuff that happens to Black people in the Black culture around the blickety blacks. So first and foremost, we have a comedian that came in. I would like to play what the comedian said. So if you don't mind, I will pull it up and play it for you. He was talking about Edmonton, Alberta specifically today. His name is Andrew Santino. And this is what he had to say about Edmonton.
Shout out to Alberta, Canada.
Shout out.
The most, and I mean this, dude, the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen in my life.
No
I'm
way.
dead serious. Riddled in Canada, specifically in Alberta.
Something
The ugliest men I've ever seen.
You don't get both.
Dude, the ugliest men I've ever seen in Alberta, Canada.
Why? What are they
With the
working
most
with?
beautiful. They're all oil riggers. They're all riggers.
Now when you
They're all oil riggers. They're all riggers.
Now when you
They're all oil boys. They got
okay,
tons of money.
Careful. Now when you say
What do you mean? I just said there are a bunch of riggers up there running around. Let me tell you something about Canada.
Oh, wow.
So that was his whole concept. He feels that all the men are ugly and all the women are beautiful.
I don't like the way the word riggers rolled off his tongue so easy.
He at first didn't realize what he was doing. And then later when the guy was like, oh, be careful. And then he kept just saying it over and over and over on purpose. But he really was talking about how beautiful the women are here. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then he was saying that all the men work on the oil field and they're all riggers. And
more so than any other place? I don't know if I agree.
Yeah, I don't know another place that has as many other than Texas.
Of beautiful women?
Sorry. I thought you meant ugly men.
No, I feel like yeah.
I thought we were going with the
ugly
with
man.
oil rigger, ugly oil rigger man. You're like more than any other place. I just automatically assumed it was the ugly people you were talking about. But no, I don't think it has the most beautiful people in all the world. He feels that it is. I think there's a certain typecast of people here.
In Edmonton. I agree.
In Edmonton. And he might...
It's that girl next door, like
he might like that.
Shorts and boots and hat, felt hat.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat type thing.
It's the cowboy aesthetic.
Yeah.
That
love
is
that.
there. Yeah. And that's not... He's really not referring to black people.
No, he's not talking about us
at all. At all. just so you know, he did say Edmonton, Alberta on a whole.
He almost was talking about us when he said riggers a bunch of times, but
yeah, it could be.
No.
So yeah. So
what else you got?
We had a lockdown this weekend. Or this week.
Western Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, West Edmonton Mall has a lot of people that go through the mall on a daily basis. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this, it is holiday season, so people are trying to get gifts and stuff is happening. Plus, there are a lot of people dealing with weddings and different stuff that happens, and the children are about to go on vacation, on break.
Which means they'll be up in the malls.
So they're up at the mall. So what ended up happening was there were 3 gentlemen. One was brandishing a gun out in the open in West Edmonton Mall. Of course, multiple people saw, multiple people recorded it, multiple people called the police, and the police then came in with full tactical unit to find them. They tried to get out of the mall, but were cornered as the entire mall went into lockdown. Lockdown has happened probably since the year began. I think about 4 times at West Edmonton Mall.
Ed?
Yeah.
So it's about 1 a quarter.
Yeah, so they literally locked the whole place down. They shut all the stores down. They lock people inside the stores, and then they go from store to store and clear the
people
and clear the place. Yeah, they clear it.
So apparently the one of the gunmen was in Old Navy, and I think the other ones were apprehended. I think one was in Winners or something like that. But yeah, the police were in the mall with their big guns.
Well,
Sanaya used to work in the mall, and I was glad that she doesn't anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because who knows?
The thing about it is, when these guys go into lockdown, it is to section one particular place and to kind of keep them into one place. It does make whatever store they go into a dangerous zone. So you literally have to be on the ground in lockdown when the police come to your particular store.
Okay. What else? We've got another lockdown here in Edmonton as well.
Kingsway Mall had its lockdown, and that actually was a shooting. So somebody actually got shot.
Inside the mall?
Inside the mall, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was actual shooting there at Kingsway Mall, and they related to gang violence. And they're not saying like it's a mass shooter, but it's more of a 2 rival groups kind of met up.
Oh, and then one shot each other.
And then one guy pulled out the old blippity.
Blick. I think Blick. Oh.
Yep. Just like Western Canada's West Edmonton Mall. Yeah. So it's a thing. So yeah, they when they did it, and now they're considering different things, because even with all of this, they're stating that with the new LRT, people are able to get to different places easier, faster. And even with them, there have been 500 violent crimes in the Edmonton transit system by itself. So because we have so much, they want to put turnstiles in there. Very similar to other places.
What are the turnstiles gonna do? Count people?
They're going to deter people from going in, because if you can't jump over, you just can't bring a gun in there.
Why can't you just bring your gun through the turnstile? Are you talking about
Turnstile.
like the thing that goes tick 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 tick?
The turnstile, yeah.
So not a actual.
Like glass bulletproof door with a metal detector?
No, not
Nope.
a metal detector.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. They want to put turnstiles in because they want to make sure that when the government comes in, he pays to get
And he's
into-
counted.
And he's counted.
Because turnstiles do count.
Yeah, they do a lot of counting.
And the electricity generated from the New York City turnstiles, some interesting fact I've forgotten already.
So
But
they,
Google
they
it,
also
and you will
they also
find it out.
generate energy through the turnstiles. in New York?
I'm sure in Edmonton that is not the case. But in New York, there's a certain amount of
What I realized
electricity generated.
in my limited knowledge of marketing is that you have to have a solid number to market to an advertising company so that they can advertise in your thing. So if you can't prove that 1,000,
XYZ
20,000 people went through
Go
your
through the
thing,
turnstile.
yeah. So they kind of looped it in with the protecting of the people by putting turnstiles in. And I'm like,
That's interesting because some guy just got punched in the face on the bus the other day.
yeah, he didn't have a gun at all. The metal detector wouldn't have done his unless he's the bionic woman or what's his name, the $6 million man.
True.
Yeah, right. That's the only way they're gonna detect. Or he could be Logan, the Wolverine.
Wolverine. Hopefully not.
That's the only time they'll be like, "Oh, we got you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
For that, I think that's the actual Canada, the actual place of the Canadians.
Canada.
Yeah,
That's what my cousin used to say to drive me crazy.
they have developed a new coin. It's a $50 coin, and this coin is colorful. It has purples and blues in there, but it also glows in the dark.
Yeah, I like it because I pay a lot of money for the rest of the money I have, and none of it glows in the dark.
Right? It might as well.
So it might as well. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Can you imagine?
The first in the light, it's like that area of Nunavut, and then in the glow in the dark, it's like actually the comet that like landing there. So that's interesting too.
This puts a whole new spin on finding change in the couch. Because if it's glowing, I'm going to know. Like right
The
away.
game is different.
It's
The
complete.
game is different.
It changes everything.
All right. In Calgary, our girl there, Taylor McNally, who has been subject to being harassed pretty much by the police and targeted, being that she's like quite a prominent activist in Calgary.
In Calgary, yeah.
Yeah, she just got sentenced to 6 months on the weekends.
Okay.
And 2 years worth of probation, which is super.
Sorry. 6 months just on the weekends?
Yeah.
So she has to go to jail
Every weekend.
every
for
weekend?
6 months.
For 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that horrible?
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a Canadian thing.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
a
sorry.
Canadian thing.
I'm not meant to laugh at this. This is obviously tragic for her.
For her, for sure, yes.
And I'm not laughing at that.
No.
But I'm laughing at our system. Our system's kind of...
Wonky tonky.
It is foul.
Yeah.
Because you want to put the weekends out for 6 months. And what did they charge? What did they charge?
Oh,
her for?
they did
Let's go
this.
over that.
They did the stacking thing.
Okay, they stacked it up. And even with all that stacking, she only got 6 months of weekends and probation.
2 years worth of probation.
Wow. And what was it for? Again, sorry.
I didn't read the stack of charges, to be honest.
Oh,
with you.
okay. I remember.
Go ahead. Yeah, you can talk about the initial incident, which you watched the video for.
Yeah, I remember that the initial incident was them protesting somebody who had gotten excessive force by the police. So they were outside of the courthouse, outside of the police station, and they were there protesting with their signs and getting the police upset. And one day, while she was out there protesting peacefully, they came and arrested her and put her arms behind her hands. And she's like, no, you got to tell me what you're arresting me for. And they kicked her legs out from underneath her and slammed her whole body into the ground with her arms behind her back. So she had nothing to protect her face from like literally hitting the ground. And it was live. And I was like, whoa, because I had been watching the protest because we have a friend that has worked with We Lit and stuff like that, who was out there, who was protesting with her. And she literally got hammered onto the ground by the police. And they dragged her in by her arms. They just picked her up. One picked up this arm, one picked up this arm with her arms behind her back. And they just pulled her right into the same police station she was protesting in front. So if it's related to that.
And then they stacked all these charges on her. And then that's what they did, took away her weekends for the winter.
Let me tell you something about protesting. It ain't for the weak, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It is something that you have to understand that your life is on the line.
Period.
And especially when you're protesting against police brutality and the police. Your life is on the line because we don't have enough pull when it comes to controlling whether the police just pull out a gun and tell a lie that you have been violent
weird,
or said something weird or whatever, and the system works towards the police favor that they can trump up charges or put charges together based off of where you're loitering here, so we had to move you or whatever. It's just weird.
Yeah, but I have to say thank you to her. She's done a lot of work on that front. I don't necessarily identify with being an activist myself, and this is one of the reasons. I am the faint. Would you like, it's not for the faint or not for the weary? I'm the weary. It's me. And then also, so actually you can actually check out hashtag Stop the Stack. Stop the Stack YYC.
Okay. They've
put together a lot of resources to be able to support her during this time. So if you do want to do that, you can definitely check that out. I think, being an activist in and of itself definitely is a big challenge.
It's big, yeah.
So amazing to her for being brave enough to do that work.
Absolutely.
And also, Taylor runs a number of mutual aid groups that provide mutual aid for people who need it. Additionally, she runs, she has run and helped run a lot of feed programs that happen on the weekends. If you think of all the programs she does that happen on the weekends, where she's giving out warm clothing, warm food to people, groceries to folks. Yep. All of that stuff. So it's a lot of good work that she definitely does in the community. And I'm sorry that she has to go through this. It's kind of devastating. And it's also knowing that when the people come for you, nobody's going to stop them.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And it is something that you have to take into consideration before you start, that this is a potential that could happen. Even with me, I often thought that the two of us in the community are more like advocates more for Black people than activists.
I wouldn't even call myself an advocate.
I would, because the fact that there's a lot of people who don't have a voice to speak, and we have a platform like this where we get to say the stuff that we're saying right now and advocate on their behalf. And so because of that, I find us to be more advocates as we do things in the community that are like that. But even so, I've gone on, even when George Floyd situation happened and the George Floyd effect took place, I went on the radio to tell people, yeah, let's go peaceful protest, let's go march. And people on the radio, I believe it was 630 Ched, were coming at me. Why are you trying to incite violence? I'm like, violence? Peaceful protests are peaceful. They're not protesting. We're not violently protesting. And people took it the wrong way. They were very upset on 630 Ched. They were calling it upset. So it's the thing.
I did not do that. So that's also why I don't consider myself an advocate. I'm like, I did not do that. Yeah, I do not consider myself that way. The least I could give you is that I have a strong sense of what I feel is right. I have a strong sense of what I feel to be rightness or righteousness. And I'm vocal about that, I think. But I'm not even as vocal as I should be, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of things that I just let fly, and I just let it happen, and I watch it happen, and I might say something, but I definitely don't do anything about it. So for the people who are really doing this work, I would feel ashamed to be like, oh, you do more than me, to be honest. I do have to say, advocate, activist. There was something I was going to say, but I completely forgot. Anyhow, okay. Do you want to keep it moving?
Yeah.
I also, Diddy, because we'll talk about Diddy probably every week for that.
The D,
yeah, all the letters.
The
one of the victims that came out that we spoke about last week, that spoke about being R-worded with him and Aaron Hall, came out with photos of herself at the studio that night, and photos of her sitting on Diddy's lap at 17 years old, and all of that stuff. My favorite part was the comment section where people were like, why is she sitting on a grown man lap at 17 years old? And I'm like, why does a grown man have a 17-year-old sitting on his lap?
It's a thing in the United States where they call it fast children, when you're fast. And that's something, when these photos come out, you're going to get a group of people that believe the girl is
blaming the child.
Going to blame the child. They're going to be like, the girl's fast. She too fast.
Yeah.
And we can't be victim blaming. This girl obviously was too young. How many people were like,
oh, but she was 17. That's legal age of consent. But like, babe, you can't consent to being gang-ard by like her literal group of people and having people force themselves on yourself. Like, people are seeing her age at 17 and being like, well, it's not statutory. Like, no, it's not statutory. It's violent assaults. Like, yeah. There's something important just on the tip of my mental. Beyonce, well, I guess I'll talk about that on the other side. All right, we'll keep it moving.
Well, there's a couple things that we had discussed. Number one, there's this actor, lady that we all know. She played in Sister Act as the mother for Lauryn Hill in Sister Act. Her and her husband have a 15-year relationship.
You're talking about Cheryl Lee Ralph?
I'm talking about Cheryl Lee Ralph.
They have been together for, I think, like 22 years or something like that.
Yeah. And
for some reason, the internet was like talking about Cheryl Lee Ralph moving to Philadelphia, which she said she's absolutely not doing. But her husband lives in Philadelphia, and he is a state senator. So they live on two separate coasts, and they fly around together. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Kimora Lee's fireplace exploded. I don't know if that was this week. And we also wondered if that was Diddy as well. Well, we collectively wondered.
It's a mob boss mentality that's going on here with the old Diddy. So he's done a bunch of stuff and accidentally done a bunch of stuff. So because he's done stuff that seems to be an accident, it's like, what is going on with Diddy? As we know that Diddy is known now, for those of you who didn't know, he's known in the hip hop community as being that guy. Suge Knight was known as that guy, but they're now being like, no.
But also, yes, because Suge Knight is in jail, really dropping dime on a lot of people because he has a new podcast. I don't know if you know that.
In jail, yeah.
Yeah, so he's there in jail, which the things people can do in jail nowadays, I tell you. But anyway, he's there in jail, just dropping dime on a whole bunch of people and things that happened in the past. Yeah. He's definitely coming out. Things just keep coming to my mind and then slipping away just so easily. So it's okay. That's why I write things down.
Yeah. And then there was one last thing that you had discussed. It was Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Taylor darn Swift.
Taylor the Swifty Swifter.
So Taylor came out recently. Actually, I think maybe it was an interview. I don't want to say Vanity Fair, but it was an interview. And she said that Kim Kardashian copied and did a bunch of editing. And how did she say illegally recorded a phone call? What? And the phone call that she's talking about is actually the phone call that between her and Kanye, where she's like, oh, I think that would be amazing. But she essentially has just decided to oh, maybe I'll just make myself a victim again around the situation. And came out and was like, she had to move out of the country. And she said that he took her career away from her.
That's wild.
It is wild to me. The internet generally agrees that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
And that's what it is all about in the end, right?
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
Beyonce did have one of the best videos of all time.
At that time, she had one of the best videos of all time. And it should have won Best Video of All Time Year award. She should have got
Video of the Year. Which... Of all the videos Beyonce has, she's still never won a VMA.
That's wild.
It's so wild.
That's wild.
So wild. There's also this list of most powerful people that came out, and they put Taylor Swift at number 4, 5, 6 in that area there, and then they put Beyonce at number 36, and they have Oprah way up there too, in the 30s or the 40s or something. And then they have Barbie at 100, but putting Barbie? Beyonce, yeah, Barbie had a big year this year.
Did you say the most influential people?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Barbie the doll?
Yeah, so somebody was
How is that Barbie? Barbie's a fake person.
Imagine being number 101 and getting beat out by a literal not human.
By a doll. What are you talking about? Who's making this list? We need to make our own list and publish it.
This month we should do just that. A list of the last one of the year. We'll have our most influential people list.
Most influential people list, and just put it in there. We can put from all over the world. We can put Canada. We can do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to
what's in your ears. No, the screen.
The screen.
Thank you. The screen.
No problem. I think we have the screen here, but I think it's... Is it that one?
No.
Did we decide no?
No, it's not that one. It's definitely not that one.
It can't be that one, because that one is already what it is. Oh, that's the screen. Yes. Glockenspiel. That's right.
That's it.
All right, you guys. Time for the screen. This week, I started watching what I call Squidward Games, which is actually Squid Games on the Netflix. I do have a client, shout out to Siobhan, who was on there.
Shout out.
on the Netflix show.
Mhm.
I got, I think, almost 5 episodes in or something like that. Very intense. I got very emotional. So if you're an empathetic person, just know that you're gonna get emotional. It's like very intense.
And just so you know, we watched this at the shop. So there's a projector at the shop, and
It's where we watch most of our stuff.
we watched this there. There is clients in there getting their hair done, watching it as well. So the reactions from them, we should try and do something like a reaction video where we have a group of people watching something for the first time and just like their reactions. But it was actually pretty funny. Some of the greatest things, I'm going to tell you right now, I support Black people 100%. Even the bad, hard to deal with Black people that were on the show, I was like, I'm rocking with this dude. I'm rocking with this girl. Even there's a girl on there named Jada that I was like, nah, I need her to leave. But to be honest, I was like, okay. I was by the end, by the time I reached where we're at, I was like, yo,
I realize that I can't talk too much about it or else I'll give it away. But I'm going to give you guys probably till like January to figure this out. And then I'm going to spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
I also started watching an anime called My Happy Marriage. The reason I chose it is because someone
recommended it.
Recommended it. And when they recommended it, it was because I was like, okay, guys, I love Steven Universe. I love... What is the other one? Kyoto Lives Alone?
Yeah. Kitaro. Kitaro.
Okay. He lives alone.
So
I was like, what would I appreciate? And then that was one of the ones that was like, this will calm you down. This will be good for your... you know, it's a good one. It's good for your...
Yeah, I mean, as far as animes are concerned, those are the calm, floofy
Correct.
animes.
Yes. Fact. It is a calm, floofy with the hands also.
Floofy.
Yes, anime. Shout out to LaShawn who loves One Piece so much. He got Zeno watching One Piece. He has Riwo's little sister watching One Piece. I'm like, what are you watching? She's like, One Piece? I was like, oh my God.
One Piece, let me tell you something, is one of the greatest animes of all time. However, I'm not going to agree with him that it is the greatest. I'm going to tell you it's one of the greatest. If not in the top 5, at least in the top 3, One Piece is listed off as one of the greatest animes to hit. Other animes that are on there that hit, well, Naruto is another one that comes up. Bleach is another one that comes up. Okay. My Hero Academia is another one that comes up. And Attack on Titan. And the new one that I've just added to the list right now is Jujutsu Kaisen, which is fantastic. It's a great one there. And you gotta love storylines like One Piece, because One Piece gives you that calm times and the funny. They have a lot of comedy in there. It is hilarious. And the live version just came out on Netflix, which covers a lot of, it's almost identical. They did a really good job for what they have. So most people need to realize that when you're going to put a live action, you're not going to get all the scenes, but they came pretty close to getting the scenes.
Okay. The director is a literal One Piece fan. So what they said is that this is one of the best adaptations because this is one of the times where they actually chose somebody who is all about the franchise to like do the work of bringing it to screen. Big shout out to Mama Zita who is blessing the hosts and all of the listeners.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, so what are you listening to this time?
Right now in my ears is none other than Todd Delaney. And Todd Delaney is a gospel artist right now. And he has a couple of songs that really just hit home. Mm-hmm. And so I recommend you check out his latest work. Mm-hmm. And that's Todd Delaney out there. He's absolutely fantastic. His band is fantastic. And they're amazing. How about yourself?
I've listened to Beyonce's brand new album. I've also not stopped listening to Andre 3000's album. I've been listening to lo-fi Afro beats. Afro lo-fi. I don't remember what it's called. But it's a whole genre of music that's lo-fi, but it's like cat, 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 and still lo-fi.
Yep.
Which is good. It's nice in the shop.
Tiwa Savage is a master of lo-fi Afrobeats.
Okay.
Like her whole beat is just study music. It's do work at the house music. It's laundry folding music. It's fantastic music.
Alrighty. That brings us to the end of our show. A nice crispy 40 something, about 42 minutes, 45 probably when we're done. Do you have a word for us?
No.
Oh, interesting.
It's your day.
Oh, okay. So my word this time is all about, let me give a real quick think to that. Actually, it's the end of the year. So to be honest with you, it's all about purging. If you can, maybe do like a parasite cleanse, a detox type of a system cleanse, eat some probiotics to get your system back into the swing of things. And when I say parasite detox, I'm not talking about anything crazy. There's a lot of teas and herbs that you can drink to help clear out your system and stop you from feeling so sluggish. Black walnut is one of them. And also diatomaceous earth, drinking those on an empty stomach. And also wormwood, sarsaparilla, burdock root, some bitterness. So invite some bitterness into your life this season. It's all about the reset, cleaning out your closet. And cleaning out your closet could be in a spiritual way, and it could also be in an actual physical way. And sometimes doing the actual physical thing can help you get a grip on doing the actual spiritual thing. So take the time. And away with the old, clean it out. This is a time of mourning. This is the end of the year. Look back on the year and get set for your 2024. And also, you guys, Mercury goes in retrograde on December 13th. I don't know what house it's going to be in retrograde in, but it's all about getting organized. So it's literally, what that means is Mercury is a planet for contracts, communications, travel, like those kinds of things. What it means is that will all be very, very difficult, if not impossible, unless you first do the task of getting organized. So, yeah.
Okay. That is fantastic. One of the teas that I like for purging is called hyssop. Hyssop is a biblical plant.
It's also bitter.
That is also bitter and also has a minty type licorice taste. And it is throughout the Bible known for purging. The Bible actually says purge with hyssop. It's actually one of the scriptures in there. I found it at the local greenhouse and found it there. It's usually there around springtime, but it is fantastic and it has helped me with a lot of things.
You can get that at a lot of the herbal stores. Shout out to Polar Bear Water and Health or something like that. And also shout out to Optimum Health. None of those people actually pay us for that. So if I got their names wrong, it's a black multiverse.
Yep.
All right, everybody, thank you. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Take your vitamin D. It's getting dark outside. We will see you again next week on the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. Oh, that's what we're missing.